There has been much talk that Donald Trump is losing the older vote, but it seems he may be in danger with the younger vote as well. While Donald Trump's children are firmly in his corner, others in their generation are not. One of those is the daughter of Rudy Giuliani, Caroline Giuliani. It's not something she likes to discuss often, as she even wrote in an op-ed for Vanity Fair that being his daughter is something she saves for at least the second date. Her mother is the former New York City mayor's second wife, Donna Hanover. Caroline's older brother Andrew has been a part of the Trump administration in the Office of Publican Liaison since 2017. Caroline says she has spent a lifetime forging an identity in the arts separate from my last name, so publicly declaring myself as a Giuliani feels counterintuitive. She also admits she can't afford to be silent now, as the stakes are too high. She not only sees politics from the background of being Giuliani's child, but from a young age, she also saw firsthand the kind of cruel, selfish politics that Donald Trump has now inflicted on our country. It made her run away, yet she knows that running away does not solve the problem. We have to stand and fight. The only way to end this nightmare is to vote. There is hope on the horizon, but we'll only grasp it if we elect Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Caroline remembers as young as 12 getting into debates with her father and remembers it as being disheartening to feel how little power I had to change his mind. She recalls that he always found a way to justify his party line, whatever it was at the time. LGBTQ and rights are important to her. She wrote that even though he was considered socially moderate for a Republican back in the day, we often still butted heads. Caroline does not hold her father's opinions against him and does admit that she had an extremely privileged childhood and am grateful for everything I was given. But the liberal subjects of racial sensitivity, or lack thereof, sexism, policing, and the social safety net have all risen to this boiling point in me. It felt important to speak my mind, and I'm glad we at least managed to communicate at all. But the chasm was painful nonetheless and has gotten exponentially more so in Trump's era of chest-thumping, bipartisan tribalism, explains Caroline. I imagine many Americans can relate to the helpless feeling this confrontation cycle created in me, but we are not helpless. I may not be able to change my father's mind, but together, we can vote this toxic administration out of office. She believes Trump and his enablers have used his time in office to stoke the injustice that already permeated our society, taking it to dramatically new, Bond villain heights. Caroline fears that another 4 years with Trump as president will irrevocably harm the LGBTQ and community, among many others. Having been estranged from her father since his divorce from her mother when she was a preteen, Caroline believes Trump's administration has torn families apart in more ways than I even imagined were possible, from ripping children from their parents at the border to mishandling the coronavirus. Faced with preventable deaths during a pandemic that Trump downplayed and ignored, rhetoric that has fed deep-seated, systemic racism, and chaos in the White House, Caroline is not surprised that so many Americans feel as hopeless and overwhelmed as I did growing up. She publicly supported former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton in 2016 and noted that what inspires me most about Vice President Biden is that he is not afraid to surround himself with people who disagree with him. We are hanging by a single, slipping finger on a cliff's edge, and the fall will be fatal. If we remove ourselves from the fight, our country will be in free fall. Alternatively, we can hang on, elect a compassionate and decent president, and claw our way back onto the ledge, she wrote. If I, after decades of despair over politics, can engage in our democracy to meet this critical moment, I know you can too. If we refuse to face our political reality, we don't stand a chance of changing it, said Caroline, the daughter of Trump's personal attorney who has grown up in politics. Attorney who has